Hey you guys, what is going on? It's me, FlipArtz, aka Kurt, if you guys don't already know, and today I have got another tips and tricks video for you guys for Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, this one is going to be about the different sights, but it's not going to be about the red dot sight or the ACOG, but it's going to be about the holographic, the thermal, the tracker, and the VMR sight. And this is really going to be about things that you need to watch out for when you're using these sights, how to use them, and all these little features that are on these sights. So, I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, let's get started. So taking a look here at the holographic sight, when you choose it, there's a little description. It says precision sight equipped with a damage fall off readout display, and that's pretty much what it is. It's a buffed up version of a red dot sight. It's got a bigger red dot or reticle, better zoom distance compared to the red dot sight, but for those two features, the only downside to using this sight is the amount of space that it takes up on screen when you're aiming down sights. It's really not that big of a deal to some people, but it could be the difference between you seeing an enemy and not seeing the enemy. So for the damage fall off readout display, that's pretty much just that little orange bar on the left. You can't miss it. It's on your sight and it just fluctuates going up and down, and it says range on the bar itself. Now, the way this works pretty much is that the bar or the meter goes up and down, and that's supposed to tell you how far away you're looking or how far or close that you're looking at something or an enemy or a wall or whatever it is. And that's supposed to also tell you how much damage you'd be roughly doing from that distance. So if you're very far away, you'd be doing just about or just under 25 damage per hit, and at close range you do a whopping 100 damage. Now for me personally, I would choose this sight over the red dot sight anytime, and I found that I'm only going to be using this sight on my assault rifles or my LMGs, but of course if you want to use it on anything else, go right ahead, no one's stopping you. And if you're going to be trying to kill enemies from really far away and you're worried because the fallout display says you're going to be doing under 25 damage, just remember that you're going to want to burst fire your gun, and make sure you do that, because if you just hold it down or try to spray with it, it's not going to be accurate, and the fall off damage from the gun is going to lower the amount of damage that you're going to be doing overall. So make sure you burst fire to get your kills, and yeah, so that's pretty much that for the holographic sight. Secondly, here we have the VMR Sight, a variable magnification reflex sight. So press circle when aiming down sights to switch between normal and 4x zoom. So when you have this sight on your gun, is automatically set to be toggled at 4x zoom, and using the sight at 4x zoom is kind of the equivalent to using an ACOG sight, whereas you use the normal sight or the normal zoom, it's a cross or mix between a red dot and a holographic sight. So for me, I typically use the tactical button layout, so that means my knife button or my melee button is going to be circle on the PS3 or PS4 or whatever it might be on Xbox or PC. But that's what I have my button layout too, so if you're using default or something, it might be a different button for you guys to toggle the different sights. It might be like R3 or whatever it is. So when you're using this sight, you gotta have to remember that when you're using it on normal zoom, that's typically used for engaging enemies that are nearby and very close, and that will help you drop them easier. And typically when I use this sight, I try to toggle it when I'm in narrow areas or tight cornered spots, but when I'm faced with an area that's very far away and like kind of open, I'll try to toggle it to a 4x zoom. That way I can scope right into them and I'll see them in the scope and drop them very quickly. Now it takes a lot of getting used to for switching between different sights and different scopes, but it's really worth it later on when you get into the habit of it. Third on our list here, we have the thermal hybrid scope, and for the description of that is the scope that detects enemy heat signatures. Press circle when aiming down sights to switch to the integrated holographic sight. This scope is really good. It's personally one of my favorite scopes to use aside from the tracker sight that I'll get to after this, and it's really one of the best sights in the game, I would think, by far. Now it detects enemy heat signatures, and so pretty much when you aim down sights, your vision becomes kind of like a grayscale kind of feel, and it really does help out though, because your enemies will light up in a bright white glow. Really easy to spot them when they're running by you, and when you also aim down sights, the zoom is very much on par with the ACOG sight, making it really easy to drop enemies from really far away. And the only weakness this sight might have is that the amount of space that it takes up on your screen, and that enemies can also use the perk incog to hide from being seen on the heat signatures. Now this sight is also a hybrid scope, so you can also toggle it and it'll give you the holographic sight, but when you go there, it's not going to give you that drop off display bar like I mentioned earlier in the video. And sometimes I find myself using it a little bit more over the thermal sight, just because sometimes it's a little bit more convenient. It really depends on the map and what places and what area you're going to be using it in. And lastly, we're going to be talking about the tracker sight. Now, the description of that says advanced targeting sight highlights and tracks enemies. Press circle when aiming down sights to flip up integrated iron sights. Now, a lot of people get pissed off, they cuss at me, they're just angry, they get all butthurt when they get killed by me using this sight. And a lot of them say that this sight is the equivalent to the Black Ops 2's target finder, which I don't agree with at all. In Black Ops 2, that target finder filled up your whole screen, and you could just see these triangles or these squares or whatever, or diamonds just popping up on screen, and you can get dropped really quickly, especially when they had a LMG attached to it as well. But in this game, it's completely different. I don't agree. When you scope down using this sight, all the vision around the sight becomes blurry, obscured. You can't see anything, and the amount of space that's used for tracking in the sight is very, very small. You can barely see anything, but it's a fair amount, but it's really, really ridiculous. Now, the best way to use the sight isn't from far away, in my opinion, but to be used from mid to close range battles, because the zoom distance on the sight isn't really that good. It's kind of on the same track of using the red dot zoom distance on it, and the only good thing about this sight is the tracking factor on it. Now, enemies will light up in an orange outline or an orange glow, and you can see that when you track them on the tracker sight. But enemies can hide from this as well, like they do on the thermal sight. They can hide on it from this one as well, just by using the incog perk. So the tracker sight is also a hybrid sight, and when you toggle it, it will give you the iron sights. But personally, I rarely ever use the iron sights. It's not that I don't like them, I just don't find it convenient to use. I've used it a couple times, and I just don't like it. I prefer to use the tracker sight, despite the fact that a lot of the space when you scope down is very obscured and blurry, but I really don't mind that. I rarely ever use the iron sights, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. You guys can use it if you want to. You guys might actually like it, but me personally, I just don't like it. Now, the best way to use this sight is to play cautiously and be a walking scanner. Really, when I use this sight, I literally just scope into my corners, scope into my areas, the open areas, and I'll do it in a little bit of a quick scope fashion. I'll check, because I have this kind of reaction time type thing. If I scope in really quickly, I'm going to be able to tell if I saw a glowing orange spot or not, and I can go to that area and just kill the person, whoever's there. But that's pretty much how you want to use the scope, cautiously and be a walking scanner. You're going to walk around, constantly scope into your corners and open areas, see if there's a glowing orange, and if there wasn't, move on to another spot, go here and go there, and you'd be pretty much okay. There really wouldn't be any other reason to be using the iron sights nonetheless. And you got to remember when you're using this sight that there are people who might be using the incog perk, and they might be camping in corners, camping in a bush. So we got to also be careful about which corners you're going to or what areas you're going to. You got to remember where the bushes are or where the major camping sections are, to make sure that enemies might not be in there, and you might get taken out. So I think that's pretty much going to wrap up this video here. I just want to give a quick shout out to bryschias and Mohawk for helping me out with some of the clips here. I really appreciate your help, boys. And I'll see you guys online sometime soon. And I just want to thank you guys all for watching. And if this video helped you out, please leave a like on this video. If you're new, subscribe. And if you want to talk to me, then leave a comment down below. And if you guys have any suggestions for new videos, leave a comment down below. And the best way to ever contact me is probably on Twitter. I will always reply back on Twitter. Probably not on YouTube, because Google Plus is screwing everything up, and I don't know when I'd be able to start commenting back on people's comments. But anyways, thank you guys for watching once again. If this video helped you out, you know what to do. All my social media links, from Tumblr to Twitter to Instagram to Vine and stuff, are in the description below. Go check that out. And if you guys haven't seen any videos on screen, let's just go check that out, because they're probably really cool. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Ciao.